Welcome back to Crossroads. I'm your host, Judy Davis. Today on Crossroads, we're providing information about services available to kinship care families. And we're happy to have with us Jerry Wallace, who's wearing two hats today. He's here as a representative of Catholic Family Center and also as the director of New York State's Kinship Navigator. Welcome again.
Thank you.
And we have with us Linda James, who is the community-based supervisor of Skip Generations program. Welcome again.
Thank you, Judy.
Now, Linda, I did read about your experience becoming a kinship care family yourself. In the article, I love the title. It was, "When Grandkids Arrive with Suitcases, There's Help." And so to help the caregivers that might be watching now, to know that they're not alone, could you share some of the feelings and some of the apprehensions that you experienced when the grandkids didn't come to visit, they were coming to stay?
Wow, Judy. I think for me it was a panic. I think when I first got them, my first thought was, I'm going to take them because nobody else is going to take them. But I didn't realize the dynamics and the things that I would have to go through once I got them. So I panicked. And I think a lot of caregivers do the same thing. They get isolated. They get depressed because they feel that nobody else know what they're going through. And so they stay in their little shell just with them and the grandkids. My particular situation, Judy, my grandkids was preemie, so they was 1 pound and 4 ounces when they was born. So I had to learn how to navigate a breathing machine if something happens. So all of this was new to me, And of course, you gotta now do feeding, you gotta change diapers, you gotta do all these things that you thought that at your age you was finished with. And the other part to that, Judy, is I had to leave my job, which left me in a very financial bind. I was able to go to the Department of Human Services and get some help. But even with that, the help is good, but it's still not enough to help these families with. And then I had a child that had a special need, so there was another pile on me. So it's really a challenge.
Now, actually, Skip Generations, I think in the article shared that they sought your assistance with expanding the Skip Generations program because of your unique experience, being also a kinship care family. So what about the Skip Generations program do they provide that's unique that really helps a kinship care family that's looking at this show right now that will really help them to get started in the beginning?
Okay. I think what we did at Skip, Judy, was once the grandparents came into our program and they had these different curriculums that they go through, and they learn a lot of things. What we wanted to do was to give back to the community. So we developed a mentoring program. Along with the University of Rochester, they was very instrumental in helping us with this 15-week curriculum. These mentors go through a 15-week curriculum. They have a pre and a post-test. So, because we want to make sure that the material that we're giving them, that they understand it. Once they finish that, we have a celebration for them. We give them a certificate, and they're then able to go into the community and mentor 2 other grandparents or kinship caregivers in their home. They stay with them for an hour. They're supposed to stay with them for an hour, but we know that it's a little longer than that. And we stay with that particular caregiver for a year. And with the hopes that once this caregiver has finished, with the mentors, that they will eventually come into a support group, okay, and actually learn what the mentors learn and eventually become a mentor themselves.
Wow, that's great.
Thank you.
Now, when it comes to the New York State Kinship Navigator, people can call in and actually talk to a specialist. What could that specialist do, or how could they help?
Well, as Linda's article alludes to, it's when you first get the child that you're trying to land on your feet, and you're really desperate to find out what's there. So we're an information and referral service with a little bit of advocacy. We're statewide, again, as I said. And because of that, our kinship specialists only talk to folks on this phone. We do not have case management. KCRN, the local program at Catholic Family Center, offered case management to the Monroe area, but unfortunately the funding has now been cut. So we're trying to do our best to give information, referral, and an itty bit of case management / advocacy. Our calls, as Linda alluded to again, when you talk to a kinship caregiver, it's going to take a while. They have a story to tell. They have to narrate what's going on, and then you have to put that together to understand what it is that you can offer them. So one of our primary services is to make them aware of what is called a child-only grant. Any kinship family can get a grant from public assistance, from social services, called a child-only grant, because they are not obligated to support that child. This has been around for over 60 years, this grant, on the federal level, but only about 25% of eligible families are getting it. So it's very common for us to be the first people to be informing them about that. If they're working with the Child Welfare Agency, we know the laws around child welfare and can advise them on their opportunity to become a foster parent or what they need to do in family court. If they're doing it privately, we can tell them how to get a parental power of attorney and keep them out of court. Or if they need to go to court, we refer them to a network of attorneys that I have around the state. We'll offer consultations. We don't have the ability for representation. So we're really there to get their feet on the ground. Sometimes Social Security benefits, other services, the Office for the Aging can help them, and other programs in their area. We keep a comprehensive listing of services that are applicable to their particular needs. We inform them about that. That's what this kinship specialist is going to do for them. And where we're lucky, if they're here in Monroe County, we would refer them to Catholic Family Center's other services, or to Linda and Skip Generation, which we've got enormously high regard for. And around the state, I know I've identified every kinship program in the state. So we get them to those particular services.
Okay, so it's like a phone call or a click away.
Yes.
And what part of your website, someone going on your website, where should they seek to go first or look first?
Well, you're going to get this. Our kinship specialists will be sending you out information and making referrals for you. But at the website, where you're working a little bit more on your own, you're always welcome to make the call on business hours. One of the chief places to go is our legal information fact sheets. We have over 45 fact sheets, ranging in everything from Social Security benefits, public assistance benefits I've just mentioned, different court procedures, how to change a name, what to do about getting a paternity test, all very specific to the needs of kinship families. And Linda, the mentoring program, in a way, part of what they're doing is the families have to learn to advocate for themselves, because there is no dedicated funding stream to provide advocates for them. And all our legal fact sheets are cited. By that I mean the legal citation to the case, to the statute, to the regulation is there. And therefore they become very valuable to go in and say to some authority, whether it be a judge or whether it's a social services worker or an Office for the Aging, here, I understand this is here for me. And instead of going in with just, I think it's here, isn't it supposed to be here, you can show them the citation to the law. That helps the advocacy a lot.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, thank you again for sharing about your services.
You're welcome.